Hey, welcome everybody. I'm so glad you're here. I can't not do this video. I can't not talk about this because I read it almost every day and it's heart-wrenching. And just now I was kind of making a list of my thoughts, and I've been pulling this video together for the last several weeks, and I've written down things I've seen online about issues people are having with their medical professionals, things they're actually hearing from their doctor, things that aren't fair, things that aren't respectful. And I want to talk about it for a second and tell you what's working for a lot of other people and tell you that you do have options. But just while kind of putting my thoughts together, I started getting a lump in my throat. I was like, are you going to cry through this video? Because I do feel that much empathy and compassion towards what some of you are currently going through, or this might be very helpful if you end up going through it in the future. So welcome. Look at me. I am knocking over everything. This is my cute little coffee island here in my Airbnb, which is an RV. I'm down here in sunny Florida for my 30-year college reunion. That just does not seem right. So if we hear yelling or dogs barking or there's a lot of wind right now, we're just going to keep going. But what I really wanted to talk to you today is, do you have a doctor that will not prescribe your weight loss shot? Do you have a doctor that's not open to them? That even though you have the BMI, even though you have the prerequisites, even though you're obese, they're giving you a little bit of reluctancy. I cannot tell you how many stories I've read online about people who qualify, people who, I lost 70 pounds. They were right where I was a year ago, and they're not able to get the drug that a lot of us got. I read someone a few weeks ago, it's really one of the ones that prompted this video, and she talked about how her doctor will not send in the PA for her prescription to go through, for her to potentially get it covered from insurance. And it seems like a little thing, but she spent paragraphs talking about how she's been really patient, like how long it's been, how many days she waits before she emails, how many days she waits before she calls. I mean, it's just been what should be this smoothest that she reads about going on with a lot of other people has been nothing but hurdles and dead ends for her. To hear different people talking about the frustration that they're feeling, trying to get a hold of Wegovy or Ozempic or Zepbound or Mounjaro. And so if you feel that your doctor has not met you with compassion for the weight struggles that you have had in your life, number one, let that be a red flag that this may not be the medical professional for you. I think for a lot of us, I definitely feel such respect for my doctor, and I don't feel, and I'm different than my boyfriend, John. He is very good to speak up for himself. He doesn't do it in a rude way, but he's not afraid to say what needs to be said. Is anybody like me and you don't feel as comfortable talking back to a doctor when the doctor says something like, that's it, that's the bottom line, that's how it is? If you have a doctor that you don't feel as being compassionate or understanding to the fact that you have been overweight for a long time, that you have been battling food chatter for decades, that you have heard that there is a drug out there that can give you the healthy messages to your brain that can help you feel full after a meal, you can eat a decent sized meal and not feel like you have to go back for seconds or thirds. If you've heard stories about these weight loss shots that are working for tens of thousands of people, and you don't feel like you're talking to a doctor that is really listening to you, I want you to know that you have the right to a second opinion. And I'm not on here very often saying anything other than absolute accolades for doctors, medical professionals, and pharmacists. And we all know that the vast majority are doing an outstanding job. And I'm not even saying that the other ones are doing a poor or horrible job. Maybe they just don't have the right experiences yet or education yet. And maybe something has happened in their past that's kind of brought them to the psychological place that they are today. But let me tell you, if your gut is telling you that you need a second opinion, it's out there. there are a lot of doctors in every single town in America, even the small ones, who are there and ready for you with a ready ear, who have done the education, who have the experience. I just want you to know that it's not a dead end. Go and talk to somebody else. And I have a few other options for you that I'll get there in a second. But have you heard somebody write about online how a doctor has said to them, eat less and exercise more? I've spent a lot of time talking through my tears about that one on our videos because it hits me in a very delicate place. It's somebody that doesn't come from an understanding of what we've went through. Yeah, we've tried that. And I know that my doctor looks like a person who's been at a healthy weight his whole life. I don't know his life story, but he's young and fit. And when he wrote the prescription for me for Mounjaro, he said addiction to food, addiction to sugar is just like any other addiction. Wow. You know, when you feel validated that way, it's worth a lot. If you don't feel like you're being validated these days, there's doctors out there that can make you feel validated. And so I wanted to say one more issue that I've seen brought to light, and that is if your doctor wants to take you off the shot because you've reached your goal weight. You know, when I started making these videos and I was 40 pounds from my goal weight, then 30, then 20, people would write in and say, you're getting close. Are you fixing to stop your videos? Don't leave us. I'm like, no, leave you. Number one, this community is super important to my success. Number two, it's just getting started when you hit maintenance, right? Like this brand new chapter, the vast majority of the book has not been written yet. It's just getting excited when we hit maintenance. We've been waiting our whole lives for this weight, for this body, for this new life, for this, wonderful unleash on life, and to wear these outfits and to look the way we look in a mirror. Yesterday, when I got off the plane, I was walking out of a bathroom. I'm not around a lot of full-length mirrors. I live in a condominium. Space is at a premium. So there's this huge mirror on the wall, right? There's no one around. I got off the plane at like midnight. So can I just tell y'all a little secret? And right when I did, I was like, I think I'd like to tell my community this. And apparently it's going to work really well right now, even though I didn't plan to say it. But I went to exit the restroom and I took a step back just to look at that girl in the mirror for a second. Do a lot of you not take a lot of time to look at yourself in the mirror because our lives are busy? We don't try to be vain. We have a lot going on. And the bottom line is that we've been really trying to get this under control for a long time. I just hit 50 years old. I was obese in my senior picture for high school. So I've been working at this for a long time. And so I almost felt silly, like I embarrassed my own self. But sometimes you just want to do something for you. I just want to do something for me. And I took a step back because I was in skinny jeans with a shirt tucked in. And I think I just wanted to look at myself in the mirror for a second. Oh my goodness. Okay, Amy. Okay, am I going to have to edit all this out? Okay, this is the end of the video. You don't have to put up with this for much longer. Thank you. Thank you for being part of my tribe, and thank you for being here, and just the way that we support and encourage each other. I spent a long time feeling like I was on an island. I didn't have the words for this. I didn't really know that a lot of people had been through what I had been through. And it wasn't until day one, and I shot this video, that I shot one when I was on Mounjaro for 2 days and then for 3 days. And everyone is using the same rhetoric, and it's almost like we've lived kind of mirrored lives. And I'm like, oh my goodness, you just worded that better than I ever could. Yeah, that's exactly what I've went through. So thank you for y'all. Okay, the answer is that if your doctor is not taking care of your health needs, if you don't feel like they're making you a priority, if they're making your health a priority, find a new primary care physician. They're out there. They really care. You'll be really glad you did. They'll be ready to get you what you need for you to reach optimal health. And the last thing I wanted to say is that many people They looked online. That was a world I was not well aware of until very recently. There is an online world of telehealth physicians. There are big groups like Push, Push, Mochi, Mochi, or if you want a private professional medical group, MD by the Sea. A lot of people have written me. Just someone last week said, every time I meet with her, I think about how you recommended her. Well, the only reason I recommended her, because, I live like 1,000 miles from her, is because unsolicited, people were just writing in saying, how people have talked about, they just felt like a number, or when they were with their telehealth doctor, all their appointments were just through an email. They just felt like it was this quick hustle and bustle, like a quick email, and like, oh, well, that's the same as an appointment. Let me tell you about somebody who makes you feel like a real person, who's genuine, who has video calls, who answers your questions, who truly listens. That's the only reason I knew about MD by the Sea and Dr. Feltner. But also, Mochi and Push have a lot of doctors connected to them if you're looking for a group. I'm putting together a video where I've actually looked at 24 private practices that were recommended, also specific doctors with Mochi and with Push, and I want to compare prices because I think that's also interesting. It's not the entire picture because, hey, I pay a little bit more for Verizon, but their communication, in my opinion, is top notch. So sometimes in life, money's not the bottom dollar, but there's a lot of groups that have been well recommended. And I want to bring those to you soon. But that's our video for today. I just want you to know that you're heard and you're being listened to, and you're not alone when you're sharing that you're having these struggles and frustration with doctors. If you have had experiences with this, feel free to share it with us. Or if you have advice for people who have gone through something like this, I would love if you wanted to throw that in the comments, because I know so many times we feel like we may be the only one going through it, or we may not really be sure of the answer. And so I hope you've heard something here that at least feels like a hug. And I just wanted you to know that, hey, you have options. Why? Because your health is the number one priority. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.